All right, cool. All right, cool. All right, Sherdog.com. I'm standing here with former UFC light heavyweight champion Rashad Evans. Rashad, looks like you are definitely here in full support of your man Kamaru Usman. So please tell me, how do you see this fight going?
Well, I mean, it's a tough one to call, because Tyron Woodley, he can fight so many different ways, and he's a counter fighter, so it all depends on how he perceives the threat of whatever Kamaru does. So I don't know, I don't know how to frame this one up, I guess,
So, as from what I understand, I know you have intertwined relationships with both gentlemen,
right.
Especially through your analyst work when you were with Fox. So, with the analyst hat, with your fan hat, with your ex-fighter hat, like which part of you is more excited for this?
The fan part is but it's going to be one of those things that kind of makes a little pit in my stomach, because that's my little brother, man, and I just want him to go out there and just have a good fight, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I know he can win, but I'm just so proud of him. I'm just happy, so happy. Like this is all he needs to do. You know what I'm saying?
So also on a more personal note for you, you were, if I'm not mistaken, you were part of the first black-on-black headliner for the UFC, and to be here to witness two guys that you have working relationships with in a title fight, another black-on-black event.
Yeah.
What is that like for you personally, as a fighter whose race became an issue in your career?
It's to me it's it's a monumental thing, honestly speaking, just because when I first got into this sport, there wasn't any me's and stuff like that, and it was just it just wasn't what it is, and I've always wanted to. I never brought that into that being in my mindset, but it was always something in the back of my mind. I'm like, man, I want to always go out there and represent, really good for black people, and that's what I was always my main goal. So, people of color, when we are able to go out there and have the stage, I want us to be able to, bring the show. And I'm very proud that, that these guys are carrying the torch.
All right, Rashad. Now, you definitely had a very storied career. Now you've continued that as a commentator and an analyst. And when are we getting that Hall of Fame call?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I try not to think about it. But it's something that it's that feather in the cap. Now that I'm away from the sport long enough to be able to, look at some of the things that I accomplished and look at it differently. When you're so close into it and you're still into it, it's never good enough. But when you get done with it, you just kind of feel the specialness in all of it. Even the things that weren't so great, it all ends up being all great in the end.
Mm-hmm. And you've had a little bit of time now away from the cage and kind of settling into the role, not as a fighter. What's life been like, just day to day? What's it like to get up and just train just for fun now, as opposed to in that camp?
It's different now. It's a different kind of life for me, just because my whole life was marked by the fact that I would be in training camp for at least 2 or 3 camps a year, so that's 20 weeks for 2 and 30 weeks for 3. So that was pretty much my whole entire, my life. It was mapped up like that. So I knew, always where I was going to be. I knew no matter how crazy life was, I can always pause it just to do a training camp. You know what I'm saying? But now it's not like that. So now I got to mark my time differently, and I still do feel like the pains of missing that flow of time. I still feel that, but I'm content to not compete. You know, I'm happy to let these guys do it, man. It's all this punching stuff. It looks like it hurts now.
All right, so last question before I let you go, Rashad. One of the best things about a Rashad Evans fight was the walkout music. Did you help Kamaru pick out a song to come out to?
Nah, you know, I wish I could, man. I wish I could, but you know, Kamaru always come out to something fly. You know, he always got he taps into his Nigerian roots, and then, but I think he's gonna come out for something very flavorful. He didn't tell me, but he said it's gonna be something flavorful. So he must know it must be something I will vibe to. So it might be a little old school. We'll see.
All right, Rashad. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Man, no doubt, man. Thank you.